Hey Dan, did I mention I was sick? I figured that for my last video tonight I would talk a little bit about politics. Last night was the last presidential debate, and I'm fairly certain you did not watch it. In fact, I watched it twice just to watch it for you as well. It was rather painful, I have to admit. There was an entire segment where they kept referring to Joe the plumber. This guy was a guy who showed up at an Obama rally concerned about Obama's tax plan and that it would affect his ability to buy this plumbing business he worked for. And McCain picked up on that and railed against it and railed against it and railed against it. It was terrible. The way they kept bandying back and forth this guy's name, and they gave his last name and where he lived. So it was you talk about product placement. Geez, how much money did they spend? How much money did they pay for that? Anyway, NPR did a funny follow-up with this guy today, and it turns out this guy works for a plumbing business that's owned by a guy, not by him, and he's not in a position to buy it anyway. And Obama's tax plan is only going to affect small businesses that make more than $250,000. Now, the key is make, because when I heard that, I realized what they were talking about was this is bottom line $250,000. So after expenses, after after all of your your cost of materials and your cost of labor and all your fixed expenses, only then your pre-tax, which is that $250,000 is a lot of money. I mean, that means you have sales somewhere in the vicinity of probably $2.5 million. So, I mean, that's not exactly sure that's a small business anymore. Anyway, and so this guy was saying, well, no, we don't even take home close to that amount. And what he was really complaining about, in fact, what he said on the radio with NPR is, what he didn't like is the fact that if he ever made that much money, he would have to pay more in taxes, and he doesn't think that's fair. Just because you're successful, you have to pay more. Now, of course, none of this was defining what more was. Is it a higher percentage, a lower percentage? Because obviously dollar for dollar is irrelevant. But the really funny thing is NPR concluded by saying that this guy, Joe, really just doesn't like paying taxes, period. Case in point, he's currently $1,200 in arrears on paying his own taxes. I thought that was pretty darn funny. So anyway, I watched this debate last night. At one point, I actually had to stop watching, and I watched the baseball game instead, which happened to be on Fox. But I went back and watched the debate, and I don't know, man. I was listening to the radio when they were saying that debates really aren't to help people get to know and understand the candidates. It's really just to see who has the best tie and to see who grimaces the most or manages to not grimace at all, or to look bored or exasperated or any of those other things. And I don't know. I mean, I honestly just don't know how to go about figuring out who, what they really stand for, because they get up there and they start on this platform, that feeds into the base of their party, which may or may not have anything to do with what they, what they themselves believe. I mean, hell, I don't even know what they believe. How do you ever really know what a candidate believes in anymore? But, it's frustrating, and I can understand why you don't watch it. So don't watch it for me, and I'll watch it for you, and I think we'll come out even. But I don't have anything more to say about politics. It's 3 weeks, I guess, a little less than 3 weeks, 19 days until the election. I think I am going to have an election party. I did that when we were back in Pullman, and I really enjoyed that. Actually, I think that was during one of Clinton's wins. So, anyway, Dan, be well, get better. Wait a minute, I'm the one that's sick. I'll get better. And I'll try to get those other videos up this weekend.